Welcome back to the stream. I'm Amitai, and I'm joined today. You can't see him because I don't know how to stream professionally in any way, but I'm joined today with audio by Joel Samaroo, who has been helping me program notqmail for the better part of the past year, on and off, I would say, mostly on, at least once a week, most weeks. And we have a pull request that has gotten so much review and so much feedback, and then like so many surprises when we tried to submit it about the GitHub auto builds, Ubuntu and Solaris, things that were broken about it there all of a sudden, not through any fault of the code itself, but like the library that it was using to do the tests. That has all been sorted out, and so it has been rebased off of this branch. And what's left on this branch is very nearly ready to merge. And we want to put our heads together because a lot of the work is Joel's and a little bit of the work is mine, to take all the feedback and act on it where both of us are present, because that can really accelerate the decision making and get it to a point where the reviewers could feasibly just approve it. And so we're going to do whatever we can do about that now. So Joel, thanks for joining us. Can we hear you?
Yep. Thanks for having me, Amatai.
Awesome. So today we're working in a very similar way to the way we worked when we were programming together every Friday last year. I have a shared tmux using Teammate, and Joel's in there and I'm in there, and then I'm sharing it on the stream, and that's that. And actually, Joel, uh, if we really don't need the Zoom shared window for that, I guess we would want it for the other stuff that I'm doing. Okay, we'll leave it there. That's showing that we're zooming. Yeah, hi Joel. So where are we at this point? We are in a position where if we said make test, I believe these tests would run and pass. I think that's the state that we're in. The code compiles. All we did in this branch is add tests with a couple caveats. So Joel, can you do a make test? Let's see what we get.
All right. Looks like we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to use my magic wand here. You can see that at the bottom here is everything above here is things compiling. It looks like mostly test compiling. And so you can see the Stralic test pass, the Qmail remote blast test pass, PrioQ test pass, and our new ones are the last ones, the Qmail send job tests. And we ran 10 checks and none of them failed and none of them errored out. So that looks pretty okay. Um, Joel, what do you think we should do next? I was thinking look at the feedback on the PR and see what's left to do.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. Let's see what Ike's comments were.
So this is the PR at GitHub. Right, this is that reset trick I was just showing you, Joel. Here are the comments. I'll annoy everyone with commit cleanliness now. No, that's good. We like that. And he also appreciates what we did explicitly, which is also nice. So he's saying, in our first commit, we did it this way. And then I think we found a different way to do it where we weren't doing that. And so we could change the commit history so that we didn't do it in the first place. Instead of making something that looks like it might be interesting and then not doing it anymore, just never have done it, which is something you can do with Git. So that's one thing we can do. Another one is that he found a simpler trick for generating. Yeah, so a linchpin of our ability to test this is the ability to get a version of the Qmail send program file, the application file, without a main function. Because the tests have their own main function, and then we run the test as a program. And so if we don't remove the original main function, then we can't link because there are two mains. And so we have a sed command that we borrowed from a previous test of Ike's. And he's saying in your particular case, it could be a simpler sed expression, is what it looks like. The one in the make file is a little more involved. I could go either way on this. My feeling is if it works to be verbatim the same as what he did before,
I think it could be
then
another PR to update that later on.
yeah, or like to write a little shell script that knows for each file how to generate one of them without a main or something. I don't know. But I don't actually think that's an optimization. Um, like
Yeah,
I don't want
I
to have to read two. Oh, wait. No, okay. I read this expression and now I kind of think it's nice. What were you gonna say?
Oh, so what he was saying is if we make this change, it would not work the same for blast.c. And so I was thinking if we wanted to make this change that he's recommending, uh, we should standardize it for both.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious why it doesn't work for Blast, but I do like this idea. Like a set expression that deletes code has to be really careful what it removes, but a set expression that renames what is probably a unique identifier so that it's not the magic identifier um, seems less likely to screw up. I kind of like that. But like you're saying, if for some reason we can't do that in both places, maybe we shouldn't do it in any of the places. We should save that as its own idea. And I
Yeah,
think I
and
think that way.
I have seen that a lot where people just rename the main function to dummy main or orange main or something. Um, yeah, I mean it makes sense. I mean if there's no entry point, then I can't do anything,
Yeah.
right?
If it's not called
Um,
name, then it doesn't matter to us.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just
So I
curious
like that idea,
why
and I
it
think I
works for
agree.
Blast. Yeah,
Yeah, we could look at Blast for a second, see why not. You want to?
yeah, we could take a
If
look
it's
at
easy to
why.
do this for both, we could do it for both. I don't care. We've cleaned up other stuff. If it's going to be a little bit of work, I don't want to do it. So let's see. Tests. Um, the set expression in question. Oop, oop, there we go. Is this one. So in this one, I don't exactly know all these things.
As I
We're looking
said,
for,
where it says in main D, he's deleting that part.
yeah. So grep dash n. What's grep dash n?
Line number.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There it is. Okay, and then I guess we can use that line number for sed to know where to do it. And we do that here, if I'm reading right. Yeah, my brain was parenthesis matching, but no, this is a parenthesis in the grep expression. That's not like a
Yeah,
shell or anything. Okay, so find that in cumulative and that gives you a line number, and then you can sed. Whoops. Yeah, I don't know what that does.
okay, so uh it'll give you the line number, colon, whatever was the matching grep.
Ah, and then it's
So he's saying replace
just keep the
anything
line number.
after the line number with nothing. So
Just
only
keep the
give
line.
me the number itself. Yeah. You could do a
Uh,
cut dash uh delimiter colon and get the first field as well, but this is a
yeah,
different way to do that.
as long as we're in sed. And then we use that. That then is like the shell output that becomes the argument
Mm.
to head dash n that number. This is escaped from makefile, but it's really this to the
Oh, I
shell.
gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's head dash n that number of cumulative
Gotcha. So
and
take it from that number all the way to the bottom and delete
starting there.
using sed. Yeah.
Yes. Wow. Okay. Okay. So we have understood that. For some reason, he's saying we couldn't just rename it here.
Well, the last expression, the sed, the D, it says delete, but he's saying delete anything from the int main, I think, and he's grabbing everything from, I guess, the head expression, right? The head dash n one, and I guess he's grabbing all of those, and he's saying delete anything after that.
For comparison, I want to see what we did for jobs. So what's so different about that?
Instead of deleting the line, we're just renaming main to
Well, no, right now
organized.
we're doing exactly
Oh, okay.
his
We're
proposal
deleting
is
everything.
ours.
Yeah.
His proposal is we
After.
change ours, but we can't do the same for his, and I don't see why not. So I guess one way to resolve this, and I'm about at my time box for doing this one, is qmail send.c, where's the main? And qmail remote.c, where's the main? Maybe they're not in the same place. So this is send, where he's saying we should set it so that it does this, right?
Yep.
And then there's remote, the one that he's saying it wouldn't work here. It's not because there are functions after it.
It,
There aren't.
it could be that there's things in that function that have to be defined in certain ways, maybe. you know, I don't know.
Oh, like you need some of these things to be allocated, whereas in qmail send they're allocated outside the main function.
Yeah.
That's a good
So
guess. Okay,
yeah. So
I've heard enough. I think this is for a
yeah,
different PR.
QML send is like its own, like it has all of its dependencies very well structured in it, and maybe QML remote may not. Maybe it has
Okay.
certain headers or something that you know.
Yeah, I'm willing to believe him that they can't both be changed in the same way, in which case I'm going to say
Let's
kick
just leave
that
it
idea.
as is.
It's a good one. It's a good idea. Kick it down the road. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of what's the deal with this project, there's so many things that we want to fix, and so many of them don't have to happen yet.
Hmm,
And that leaves us some things we can do now
hmm.
and get it out. And that's the situation here. So I'm going to say cool idea, not now. This one I agree. We should do that one. We should do that squash commit. And then after that, the third commit, parts of it should be squashed back into the first. Let's see what he's talking about. And the last commit
That
that I just on at the end
sorry. The last
works.
part, the third commit. That's when we had code style issues, and he's like, we probably shouldn't have had those in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, you could just so this is another thing that we talk about a lot, and Tony heard me a lot on this too. There's so much force pushing in this I guess code contribution workflow because we're not putting things on master or main. We're putting things in a branch. The branch is getting discussed, and then we want to sort of reshape the branch to be what people wanted it to be, which includes changing the history before the history matters. So we can invent a history that looks sensible, in which every commit justifies itself and runs and compiles and runs and passes tests, um, and then merge that sequence if there is one, or one commit if there is one. But at least it's a history that, like, it is interesting that the way this evolved is the way that it looks now. Except that's already not true. I already rebased it and force pushed it a bunch of times. It is interesting to know, in some way, the history of how we actually figured these things out. There is value to that. But we think for this project, there's more value to losing that history and preserving uh, like uh, uh, a sequentially logically unfolding sequence of commits based on what we figured out, not based on how we figured it out, but based on what we figured out. Um, and so it doesn't like you read the history of notqmail, it looks like people got things right the first time. We did not. We continue not to. But we want a history that tests the reader less and explains itself the first time more at the expense of losing some of the colorful thought process that went into it. For the thought process, we can program together and we can look at the history of a particular PR and see the comments that were there and deduce what must have changed along the way. So it's fine, it's okay. So we have some rebasing and some history editing to do here. And then the last commit, I threw it on there because I was debugging Solaris, like 5 different things about the Solaris build, and I figured this one out and made things work, and so I put it in, and I figured we would talk about it later. Later is now, so that's good. So let's get to that. Let's go back to our He's saying make it so that qmail send.h never happened. So let's go look at that. You want me to navigate you, or do you want to tell me like the intention from the PR, and I'll try to figure out how to do it? What would you like?
You could navigate me. I could do this. I could drive.
Okay. Um, CD up a level, because right now we're in a subdirectory, and that's always confusing. Git status should be clean before you do a rebase. I mean, rebase will tell you if it's not. Let's do a make clean. Now it should look pretty good. That's not going to get in the way. That's just an artifact from the programming together that we were doing. Okay. First things first, let's do a TIG and look at the first couple commits and think about what we want to change.
How do we look? Just enter or just?
Yes, so go down though to add test for qmail send job functions and then hit enter on that one. It's kind of like mutt for git commits. And then you can spacebar, I think, here to move through it. So what we're looking for here, spacebar one more time. Yeah, so at the around the middle of the screen, I can use my magic wand here. Um, this is the first line of the diff we're looking at right now, which is from this commit, which is this entry here. So right here we see there's a qmail send.h that looks kind of like an add, and it was. We extracted it. And I guess what we're saying then is in the next commit, if you hit the up arrow and spacebar again, it looks like we decided not to do that. Deleted 20 lines that we added last time. And then qmail send.h goes away. So at least in this way, we want to make it so that we never added it in the first place. That's not interesting. It's interesting that we thought so. Maybe later we'll need it, but it's not interesting to preserve that for all time that we thought that.
Didn't
Um,
we add it back or
yeah, I
the
mean,
next
keep
one?
looking. Look at the next one. It looks like we just changed the test file. I think what we wound up doing instead of the H was generating a .c without the main. I think the generating the .c without the main uh, then got linked into the test.
Okay.
And then we didn't need the .h. We had the symbols there. I think so.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. 20 lines here, and then we removed the 20 lines here. Yep. I see it.
So if that were the only aspect of the second commit, that's a trivial squash. We do a git rebase -I for interactive, and we say squash the commit where we deleted qmail send into the previous one, and then it was never added. But that's not true. The second commit has other stuff in it. And so we have to decide if some of them should stay distinct, or if we should just merge the whole thing into the first commit, which maybe, I don't know. So this is the second commit, right? Uh, add tests was the first one. Rename test stuff for consistency is the second one. Can you do the minus key? I think we'll go back a page in the commit. Yeah. So the things that we did from the description, generate C files specifically without main. Jobs is yeah, this sounds really familiar. Jobs is the part of qmail send being tested. And so extend that back to the qmail remote test and call it blast for consistency. See, that was cheap, so I was fine doing it. But like figuring out said stuff, nah. Uh, that's a different thing. Okay, and instead of including qmail send.h, we include, oh yeah, right, we include the C file. That's why. I was going to
Hmm.
say, like, if we link with the object, we might not have all the defines. But if we include the C file, then we certainly do. And that's what happened. Okay, okay. So that's why we don't need .h at all, because everything that would have been in it is in the C file, and we included that. That's why. I believe
Yeah, I
myself
think
now.
I think at first we were like, do we want to create a prototype? And then later on we are like, well, we don't need the prototype because we're gonna get the object anyway from it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Something
this,
like
okay,
that.
and then we stop including email there either. Um, right, we had a conflict there, and so for the tests, we're we have a transition process for old function names that we want to remove from the public API or rename or whatever. And that's that by default they continue to be available, but that we have a define that marks them as deprecated, and it's possible to build with another define that excludes all those deprecated functions from the compiled objects. And some of our automatic builds are specifically to remove the deprecated functions and make sure that everything still builds that way. But so in this case, we were getting our own warning, I think, because there's a function called log that Gmail send calls, and it's not the standard C library log function. And so, yeah, so we used this one and called directly the new name of a particular Gmail function, and then got rid of Gmail send.h. Okay, let's just scan through this one. My feeling, based on the description, is this whole commit can be squashed. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
these are
No,
all things, now that we know them, should have been part of the first commit. Now that we know it.
okay. So we
So
should
let's
do a
scan.
rebase or what do you mean
Not
scan?
yet.
Just hit space?
Oh yeah, just, spacebar. Yes, that's what I mean. Spacebar and see what we have. Removing email send.h. Next. Uh, Putting backstruct job into email send because we had removed it. That's something I want to do a diff on at the end of this. Qmailsend.c should wind up being unchanged, like byte for byte equivalent in the end of all this, because we wound up not extracting anything. So that's something to check. Okay. Um, like it shouldn't even be part of the pull request when we're done, because it won't be a file that changed. Let's come back and see if that's true. So we're restoring struct job from the place that we pulled it out of. Next, next page. Qmailsend.h goes back to dev null. Next page. Right, and everything in it. The test make file, we rename the qmil remote test following our own pattern. And then we have an easy pattern to remove the generated C files now that there's more than one. Next page. Right, we rename it's not called blast anymore, it's called qmil remote without main. The set expression remains the same, because who wants to edit that? Not me. Um, it has a rule for building that out. Oh, because the qmil remote test links with the object. Our test includes the text of the C file. So they have a rule for .o, and we won't, but that's fine. Unit test blast rename. Next page.
A
Rename.
blast.o was changed to remote without
Yeah.
main.o.
Yes, exactly. These are all following the rename. Next page. Here's us now following the same pattern. Yep. We remove the rules for building a .o at all because we're just going to include the text of the file. And then in the unit test, we don't have to link with that .o because we included the C. Okay. Next page. Right. Same there. Depends on both C files because one of them gets included into the other. Yeah. Next page. Right. Define deprecated functions removed. Why did we need that? I'm trying to think.
Um,
Yeah.
it was a QS functions had like a math like log2 or something like that where
Yeah. Control Z. I want to look at that file, and that'll remind me what it is. So Control
control Z
Z,
C.
Z to background, yeah, and then vi qsutil.h I think is the one. Yeah. Okay. So log two. That's the one. That must
Line
be it.
10 is the one where it's like characters
Yeah.
but like the math function in the test when we
Right.
do import check, it has its own log too.
It's a log
That's
based too thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And I see. We basically made it a pass through to QS log 2, but we can't delete it yet. We have to go through a release cycle first. And so in the meantime, the symbol is still here, but complaining, and we don't need it to. Okay, got it. Control Q and FG.
Control Q.
I mean, colon Q. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, makes more sense. Get out of here and go back to.
Doing my driver job.
Yeah, it should speak to you in intentions. And then go
All
back
right.
to TIG, we already have going.
All right. So FG is good enough. Or,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay, and that is almost the end of this diff. We have this must have been, maybe I did this one? This looks like a Sun Pro kind of a compiler warning, where you
So
have to declare
uh,
the variable first.
it's worth mentioning this towards the end. You know how you see into J followed by the for loop. Uh,
Yeah, that's what I'm
later
looking at.
on, as part of like what Ika was talking about for the styles, we added white space between those two for consistency.
Mhm.
So that's what he was trying to say. Like, we probably it would have made sense to have had those stylistic things in the beginning as well. Just bring it all together.
So what motivated the reason I was thinking like that looks like a Sun Pro kind of thing is that this looks like C89 rather than C99 to have to declare this loop variable first.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Ika
what-
mentioned that the project officially supports C89 style,
yeah, I
not
think that's right.
C99. Okay.
So it's cool that he spotted that. The way that I discovered that is when I was trying to build on Solaris with Sun Pro, and it was saying like,
Ah, gotcha.
you can't just declare a variable right now. That's not okay.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, right, right, right. So I actually have it to do on one of my personal projects, accept utils, which is TLS and SMTP authentication for notqmail, but as an add-on that I wrote. I have it to do. I have a few to-dos for it, and one of the last ones is try to get it through Sun Pro, and I already have a bunch of formulations that I know I'm going to have to change. So this is one of them, and I was wondering how you found it, and I guess Ika, with his practiced eye, found
Yeah.
it. Okay, so spacebar on this one. Let's see what the last bit of this is.
I
That's
think
it.
that's it.
Okay.
Yep.
So what I've seen, we can squash this one onto the first one. We could just do that now, or we can see if there's just a lot of squashing we can do all at once. Let's do that. Let's go to the next one.
Okay. Up, right?
So Tony's commit, up arrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what happened here? Remove unneeded unit tests and conform with coding standards. Okay,
These are
this
the
is all.
style ones. Yeah.
What kind of stuff is here? Let's see. Spacebar.
Yeah. Up, yeah.
Braces on the next line. Okay, fine with me. I really think if this matters to us, we should get some kind of a linter that
You,
says what
you,
our.
you know what? This Tony and I just spent the day just like, hey, let's move these braces. Let's add new lines after these integer declarations and like, um,
What a use of two fine brains. Okay, yeah. So then, oh, this is different. What happened here?
we declared
You extracted a method, and it's probably going to loop.
yes
What happened is that on the previous screen? If you do a minus, assert
minus.
all slots.
There
Yes,
it is.
that's what we.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so that's not just a style change. That's a factoring change. That's very nice. So we have assert all slots are available, takes a num jobs, and iterates up to it for each of them. So not just picking arbitrary spots in an array of jobs, but just
Ah,
check
right.
all of them. Cheap, right?
Yeah.
Spacebar. Okay, so it's doing an assert job at index and a seek null. It looks slightly different. What the? Okay,
Which
we're
part?
gonna we're gonna review the code at the end anyway. Okay, so these are this is intended to refactor. We'll check it over.
Yep.
Um, Spacebar. So initialize up front, allocate up front, put a blank line, normal, otherwise no change. Job open slot available. I bet those are variables that we're gonna not allocate later, spacebar. Yep. Yep. Okay, and same thing again, spacebar. What happened to the job open channel? I'm looking.
No, no. There, if I hit minus, I think we declared them all up top, right? And then okay, look at toward the bottom. That's where I declared them, the three, 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah. Okay. Spacebar.
And then if I hit space, then we actually define what they are.
Yeah, but here's what I'm seeing. Job open ID was this, and it is. Job open channel was this, and where is it?
Um, does a space bar actually go down more lines than we intend, or
No, I think that line is gone, and that may be the commit that I did. We'll come back to it. So there's something that looks like
okay,
it lost there. To me, it looks like
okay.
something got lost there. All right. And then spacebar, we had comments about job close and a test about it. What happened to that? Job close decrements available slots for each call.
Oh, okay. He didn't like this. This is the decrement one. So
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
let's not
He was
capture
saying,
this.
like, don't document that and have somebody think that we intend to keep it.
Yeah. So
Right.
we just
Okay.
got
Okay.
rid of that.
It's just a weird actual behavior, but it's not something we're trying to preserve. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go either way. I'm okay with it. Okay. And then spacebar, a few more of those. Yeah, see here, job open ID 79 persists and job open channel 42 persists. That other one we lost the job open.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Okay, and then this is right, this is the style for the pointer. Cool spacebar. That's got to be the end. Yeah, okay. Okay. And then what is my commit? What am I changing?
Okay. Let's go up
Uh,
one.
Up arrow.
Oh, there's your channel. I said
Okay.
that was,
Okay. Okay.
but it
Not
looks
bad.
added though. Doesn't that look like it was added here? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, because it had been dropped, and then I was having some kind of test failure, or maybe even like a test crash. Not sure. Okay. So I think
We could probably squash them all.
this is all one commit.
Hmm.
I think so. Can we double
Hmm.
check the Tony commit? There, this is one of the things I was wondering about. I feel like there was one other thing. So down arrow. Oh, right. Yeah, before we do that. Uh, I was getting some weird behavior on Solaris, and so I was reading through channels and what kind of values they can have in the real code.
Yeah.
And it sure looks like they're always 0 or 1.
Remote or local channel, right? Something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they're numbered and they correspond to one local channel and one remote channel. Uh, and somehow, maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter for the tests. But I was trying to figure out my undefined crashy behavior, so I wrote it down. So I don't know if we need to keep that comment. I do want to look at the Tony commit one more time. So down arrow, we know that there was a job open channel that we put back. Is there anything else that my eye caught here? I feel like there was. Spacebar. Right. When we extracted that helper function, space down, assert all slots are available. So Q out of here, and let's just look at the current state of tests, unit test, email send.c. Yeah. And then that helper function, it's assert underscore or something. Enter and not that one, but we're getting close. That one. Okay. Let's look at the body of this one. So we're asserting.
Oh, line 66 is what we changed.
Oh, okay, right. Because Ika was saying it's a pointer. You should be checking it against null.
It was a whole discussion about how C could be checking against 0, but the proper thing to do is to check against null because
Okay.
null always points to 0, and it's not always the other way around. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I remember that now. Yeah, sender.s
yeah,
is a pointer to a character array or something like that. Character pointer,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
intended null. Okay, okay. So then that change is accounted for. It's intentional. I think that was it. So let's do a squash. Let's get squashy. And then
Okay.
we can just review the state of the one commit when it's all done. So do rebase dash I. And we should say rebase dash I against what before we go any further. So control U to erase the line.
Oh
And
wait, should I control U here or
yeah, I'm not ready to do this command.
okay?
I want to see the two remotes that we have first. So get remote dash V
Gotcha.
because on Schmann's master, I have an additional commit that I'm adding a GitHub funding.yml file so that people can buy me a coffee or whatever. Uh, and I don't want that to go into the upstream. So unfortunately, it has to be in the code base to do it. So what we want to do, we want to rebase against upstream master for this. So get rebase dash I. I was looking for the names of the remotes, so I knew what to call it. Get remote dash I space.
Rebase dash I
Yes. Thank you.
space. Okay, and then
My bad time for sure. Upstream slash master. Upstream being the remote and master being the branch from it that we want to rebase onto. Yes. Ready for that.
okay.
Okay. So there's a lot here. Uh, I think you can
Should we just do one squash at a time, or do
hang on.
you want to?
The first thing we need to do is get rid of the first four, and I'm trying to think of the best way to do that.
You mean the Solaris ones?
The first four commits, update Ubuntu auto build to recent check, update Solaris auto build, avoid make-c, and always define nroff. Those
But
are
we
on
want.
master. Those are on master and
Oh
shouldn't be part of this branch's history.
no, we rebased this branch, right? So shouldn't it be part of
I
it?
might have rebased it onto that to make sure everything was going to build. Hang on.
Okay.
Don't do anything yet. I'm going to switch
Nope.
over
I won't
to
do anything yet.
it looks like four commits right now. I got to agree with that. Huh. So then why does it look like eight commits? This branch should look like, for now, should look like the last four commits. I want to say, try going to line one. This isn't going to do anything to the remote. We can always undo. So
Oh wait, you probably rebase those changes onto here. We probably want to rebase this. We want to probably rebase this off the tip of master then.
that's what we're trying to do.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay,
So I think that we can try this, and if it's wrong, we'll unscrew it.
okay.
Go to the first line and just type 4DD to delete the first four lines. I'm not sure if this will work, but it might. And then write and quit. See if that rebase can work. Okay. And do it again and see what history it thinks we had. Okay. And then quit out of here without doing anything. Yeah. Do a TIG. Those commits will still be there.
Yep.
Uh, Wait. I was looking for the commits from upstream.
Did we do a fetch yet? If we didn't do a get fetch from master, then rebase this onto the tip of master.
We'll
How
do
would we
it.
see it?
They were there. I feel like we did something wrong just there.
Okay,
Why is that? Okay, so Q,
Q.
yeah. Uh, Git reset dash dash hard space upstream slash Samaroo tab anywhere. No?
No.
Oh, we have it on Schmons. Schmons slash Samaroo. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
And then look at Tig.
All right, we got it back.
Better, 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 better. Okay, let's try this a different way. Q and go back to our rebase that we wanted to do, and we'll try it again a different way. Yes. Colon WQ. See if it figures it out. Okay, and now I'll run it again. Huh. So what I was expecting to see here, before the previous attempt even, uh, was just our commits. For some reason, it's showing commits from the master branch as though they're in our branch and making us choose about them. I don't like it. Colon Q. Let me think. Can I take the keyboard a little bit
Yep.
just to see what I can figure out? Do I have my graph alias here? Samarjo tests and jobs. You can see our branch has this one and this one and this one and this one. This is Schmann's master, which is what I don't want to get into. Upstream master is somewhere here. Yeah, I don't see upstream master marked anywhere here, which is weird.
Oh,
So
did we rebase it on the did we rebase the right one? Or
I think so. You were saying do a get fetch, and I thought we had. But let's just do a get fetch upstream also explicitly. Ah, okay.
there it is. Yeah, new branch
This
just
will
came
help.
out now.
Now when we go here, phew. Okay,
Ah, there it is. Cool, cool. Yeah.
proceed. That's
Cool,
what
cool,
it
cool,
was. That's what
cool.
you said. Did
Okay.
we do a fetch? And I was like, yeah, we did a fetch. But it sure looks like we didn't do a fetch. So if we specify the upstream explicitly, then we did a fetch. Now we did a fetch. Thank you, Joel. Okay, so what we were saying is these are all four of our commits, and we think they should be one commit. We're going to lose to the extent that it matters, which I argue is not any. The fact that the first commit was largely a group effort, and the last few commits were a pair here and a single programmer there. I explicitly think that that's wrong. This was all a group effort, and so I'm fine as long as all of us are represented as co-committers, which I think they already are. I think Tony, you and me were already on the first one. So then I'm fine collapsing them all.
Yeah.
In which case, what you can do is select the word pick for the last three. You can go down one and then control V. Yeah, and then, yeah, exactly. And then change that to F for fix up, or just the whole
Is
word
that
if
so
you
I
want.
do like I'll just do X for
Yeah.
now and then just do control V,
Uh,
shift I,
okay.
F.
Yeah. Okay.
Shouldn't we do
It could be one
spa
operation. It could be one operation. Do undo.
Okay. Undo, undo,
Bring back the.
undo. Okay.
So select the way you selected, but then instead of X, do S.
Capital S or just S?
Lowercase s, plain old S, and type F one time and escape.
F as in fix up?
F as in fix up. Yep.
Okay.
Escape. And then it
Escape,
repeats.
escape,
Just escape.
escape. I might
And
have
it
to do it again.
repeats that. It
There
repeats
you
that.
go.
Yeah. That
You
is
got
it.
it.
Okay. And you were going to say, shouldn't we something?
Oh, escape colon X to save it? Or
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say, shouldn't we do something different with the rebase? Okay. So then this
oh yeah, I was gonna ask, are we going to so with the co-authors, are we sure it's in the first commit up there? That's what I want to confirm.
pretty sure. Let's check it. I'm going to look
This
on the web. 22 people. You're in it.
perfect,
I'm in it.
perfect, perfect. Yeah.
Tony would be about over here. Yep, we're all in it.
All right. Cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
Then
So
I'm all
then
ready.
save it. And it's just gonna go flip. Yeah. And now if you do a TIG, it's gonna be one commit from
Oh
master.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So one thing we wanted to verify in that commit is that qmail send.c isn't even in part of it because we wound up not adding or removing anything.
So probably get show or something like that is what we could do.
Oh, we could do that, just the space bar.
Okay.
Get show is good too. We now that we know
Okay.
it's one commit, get show is better. Yeah. So there's all of us. Very nice. And then oh
Could
yeah, a good
you
way to show it. We have a
get
trick.
show dash stat or something?
Dash dash stat.
There you go.
Did it work? Yeah. Yeah. So make file changes. We added a test file and we renamed a file. Yeah, that's convincing. I like that. Um,
That's literally all we did. I don't think we
in,
did
in the
anything else.
end, in the end, and those are really tricky tests that were important to write after we figured out how to write them. So let's just take a look at that test file one more time. See if anything
Um,
funny is
would
going
you
on.
like me to try a make test to make sure it builds first, or
Yes, I would. I feel pretty good about it, but it's cheap to be sure before we read anything. Yeah, that's good.
probably should have done the dash M4J or J4, whatever it was.
Yeah, I've started doing that too. It really does help. Dash
Uh,
J4 or 6 or something. Do you want to try that? Let's do a Control
yeah,
C and then we can see how much faster it can get. Make,
J4,
make J4, I think so. Yeah,
make, sorry, dash J4,
I think it
test.
works either way. Yeah, go for it.
Ah,
Yeah, it would have been more convincing if we did it sooner. Do a make clean and then it should be better. Yeah.
yeah,
It's a bit
if you recall, like, this wasn't working when we first did it, like, months
worth
ago.
investing. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so we want a
They
VI
they
that
passed.
file.
They run and they pass. Let's just give it a once over now that it's possibly finished enough. And then if we like it, we can force push that, comment on the PR, and see if people can approve it. I certainly will.
All right. Well, just looking at it, the coding styles appear okay. you know.
Looks like. Do you mind if I just page around in here?
Please do, please do. I'm off keyboard, so.
Okay. So we had this one. I guess. I guess this define could go down a line because it's really
Yeah,
this file needs to apply.
I am not sure why I put it on top. I think I did it just because I wanted to make it clear that we were we were deprecating, we were using deprecated functions at first, and then said, okay, by the way, we're using check, and um, we're including the qmail send without the library. So
Just looking for a style point here. Okay. Yeah, so the style point that I was looking for is we include the external
check
check
first.
library header first,
Yeah,
then a blank line, and then any local headers that we need.
got it.
So that's what I thought I was doing, and I wanted to make sure that our neighbors were doing it too. Looks like they do. So let's try that. Uh, I don't think there's going to be a lot I need to do here. Let's see. Are there any tab characters in this file? No. Okay, that's easy. Well, not really reading anything. I already read everything. Hmm.
Here you go. On the GitHub page, like I said, you could define deprecated functions removed at the very beginning of the source test source. Ideally, with a comment that one needs to remove log2 to make it compile. So at the very beginning was very obscure to me, where very beginning meant.
Uh-huh.
um, if you just, right there at the bottom, make test, a little lower. Yeah, scroll a little lower to see his response. There you go.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, so we'll check that in a moment, that it really works.
Who said pull requests aren't collaborative?
For reals. For reals.
um,
I don't think this comment is important.
yeah,
Uh,
I mean, later on, if we want to, we could always just switch between 0 and 1 and avoid the 36s and 47s, you know?
yeah, and the trick was I was in the middle of debugging the Solaris tests, and so
Yeah.
everything that looked salient, I was writing it down. But I think they're going to pass. They have
Okay.
been passing. So I don't think we need that comment. It's not that interesting.
Well, once we
Uh,
force push, it should build on those anyway, and we'll see it
it's going
there.
to. Yeah, now that the master builds include Solaris and are working again. Exactly. So let's see. I would expect this to still work. And then I want to try, oops, not that one. That one. I want to try if I don't do this. What's our problem? It's this one. Okay. Static follows
Oh,
non-static.
yeah,
That's
it had to go up top. Okay.
okay. No, it's just if I don't say it at all, then we get ourselves
Oh,
in.
I see. I see. That's if you
But
don't say it at
this
all.
this way was fine. So I'm gonna keep it that way. Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
So
Cool. Cool.
in that case, XXX gonna squash this. In fact, I got a better way. Hold up.
Fix up
Check
it.
this out. Check this out.
I guess I just amend. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say.
I think this works.
I think
Uh,
so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Take me back here.
Um.
That's what I did, and I took out that
Yep. Yep.
comment. And if I do a get status, it doesn't think we have anything unmodified. So I think that was it. So
Well,
then,
if you do git show and look for it, maybe we can even see it there, right? If
look
you
for which.
we added that in the top of test, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh, there
that's
it
our
is.
change.
Yep, perfect, nice. Yeah, I
Sweet
don't
easy.
know. For some reason, it just
It's
helpful
good
to
to
see
be
it.
true. It's
Yeah.
good to be true. So then, the current status locally is clean. but we diverged from upstream. And this, my good man, is one of those times that we force push.
All right.
Wait, before we do it, was there
Yeah.
anything else
Yeah.
I could had suggested? I feel like we did everything, but let's check.
He did,
Squash
but I
these.
think yeah.
Don't do this one. We're gonna have to comment on that, but we didn't do that one. Commit that back in and commit that back in. Okay, yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Cool. Yep. Yep.
Would you like to do the force pushing honors very
Sure.
carefully?
Sure. Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. First things first. So far, we proposed this PR based on pushing the branch to my upstream, my fork. So we're
Yep.
going to keep doing that.
Yep.
To make sure all the tests run, I then also push it to master to upstream because some of this, I think the FreeBSD CI jobs will not run on a fork for some reason. So like this is the branch of record for what's going to get merged, but we also need to push a copy of the same branch onto the main project.
Ah. Okay.
So we'll do both. Okay, so I'll navigate you because this is
Okay.
really fun to force push sometimes.
I
So we
confirmed the
see,
remote one more time. Yep.
yeah, so we can see the remotes. Schmons is the one we have to change what reviewers are reviewing, and upstream is the one we have to push to make sure all the automated checks will run. That's not that much fun. So there's no origin in this case. There's Schmons, and then there's upstream. So without a force push, it would just be, and you could put the word head in all caps, where we are right now, and that works on whatever branch you're on. Because it has to be a force push, you could try it like that, actually. Does that work with a dash dash force?
Yep. Should we?
I would say take off the dash dash force and try the push and see that Git says this is inconsistent. Can't. Right. So sometimes this means you're behind and you need to like poll dash rebase. That's not this. This is force. So add your force. Excellent. And now if we pop over to this web page, it is now
One commit.
one commit. And the checks are starting to run. And I know from recent experience, the FreeBSD ones are going to be confused. So to help them out, we need to also hit the up arrow and change Schmons to upstream, and that's it.
Remove force as well, or just go for it?
Yes, also force. Yeah. And now it'll take a little while for some of them. Let's pop over to our situation here. Woo! And we should comment. Do you want to do the comment on Ika's comment?
You can, since it's already
Okay,
open. So yeah.
okay, let's do that.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm sure he sees I pushed, or at least we pushed. So
yeah,
um, plus, if he's ever unsure, he could always refer to Twitch
yeah,
stream.
of course. I'm sure he's gonna fall over himself to do that. Yeah. Okay, so with Samurai Joe here, we decided to squash all the commits, keeping all the, what's the word, co-author?
Yeah, co-authors,
All the co-authors.
co-authored by, I guess it is.
I should just copy. Why am I typing? That's right, though. Uh,
Into a single commit. Yeah.
into one. What was the commit message, by the way? Was it just add test? Oh, yeah.
Add test for
Is
email,
this still
send
accurate?
log out.
Generate a copy without, and we don't do
Yes,
this anymore. Fix the commit
we
message.
yeah, we do
We don't
generate a
do that.
copy of extract job start. We do not do that. You're right. Okay,
All right, hold
let's
up. So this is also kind of rebates, I think.
yeah, reword, I guess, what we do.
And then we can say R for reword.
All right, that's a good point. I completely forgot about that.
And let's do it in this order.
It doesn't have its own main actually, which provide. Oh yeah, that would have a main. Yeah, I thought you said okay. I read that wrong. I'm sorry.
Should we write it a way that is harder to
Generate a
misinterpret?
copy of QML send that without main C for tests. Oh, for tests, which I see for unit tests, which provide their own main. Yeah. Got it. Tests provide their own main. Perfect. Yeah.
If I can type.
Yes.
Think so. I like it.
Looks good.
Boop. And then we will push upstream. Might actually be a better order for the
Schmons.
automated runners and then Dishmons.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know if it matters. It's all voodoo to me.
Hmm.
Uh, Keeping the co-authored by. And we'd like to defer the change of said expression for uh, to its own PR. I'll put it this way. I'd like to defer the change of said expression.
To a later time.
Uh, Elegant for it's only really simpler if what do I want to say? Uh, if we can't, I'll do it that way. If we can't apply the simpler said expression to the other test too, we'd like to defer that change to another time.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay. Boom. Dude, high five. Oh yeah, one
Not
other thing.
not that people
I'm
could see
assuming
me
you
high fiving, but you
yeah, I know
can.
you for our next stream we will have that sorted out. We'll have visual high
Uh,
fiving. So at this point, I'm pretty sure these tests are going to pass in the auto builder. I've spent a lot of time with the auto builder recently for this PR,
really?
motivate for this PR. Some of them have started to pass. I just want to come in here right now and add my review, which is yes, I agree with this.
Nice, nice.
Approve.
Very nice. I
That's
appreciate
all I'm going
that.
to say. That's all I'm going to say. I just approve it. That's it.
Yeah.
I'd said enough elsewhere. Okay, let's watch those a little bit. We're going to be able to see a lot of them pass. The Solaris ones take a really long time. Have you ever seen how the Solaris ones work? We could take a minute and
No.
show that before we sign off. They
Sure.
are very intense.
Mm,
Let's pop over to, so we have a few. We have uh, the default and we have the one with that no obsolete define running for the whole code. So whichever one here. Let's look at this. Okay, it's not even started yet. Let me show you
mm,
how this works. I'll show you over here in the GitHub workflows. So this one is like typical builds. This is the Ubuntu and macOS builds. FreeBSD is on a different, it's not a GitHub one, it's a Cirrus CI, I think. But these are the GitHub builds for Ubuntu and Mac, as you can see here. And they're very straightforward. It's a YAML and it's a YAML and it's got a matrix of options. And there's a few too many options, but that's what we have right now. This is the trick here, by the way, for how I got Ubuntu on GitHub to have a sufficiently new libcheck, is that I added a source from an Ubuntu that's newer than that Ubuntu, which, like, by rights, does not have to work. Like, it could require a newer libc. It could require, I don't know, a new kernel interface. It so happens that it does work this time. So I didn't have to get any more hardcore than that. So this is how we got a newer check from a newer Ubuntu into the Ubuntu that's here, so that the test can use the check functions that you wanted it to use, right? That was relatively easy. So this is normal. Let me show you the Solaris one, which merits its own separate file. So it needs, this is the interesting part. Maybe you missed this.
Huh. Weird.
What is going on here? It runs on Mac OS. Those are not the
I
same
mean,
thing.
maybe Mac because it's
This
BSD based.
here.
You know?
Yeah. Look at this here. This is the thing. Solaris VM actions. Let's pull that up. VM
What is that?
actions. Solaris VM.
I don't even know what that is.
Somebody figured out that GitHub Actions gives you a small variety of machines. You get an Ubuntu, you get a Mac OS, maybe
Hmm.
there's a couple others. You
Hmm.
don't get Solaris. But someone figured out that the Mac OS that they provide has the vbox manage command available from VirtualBox.
And that's what we
And
needed.
and so if you're willing to use, like, this guy goes to some trouble, I imagine.
So,
If
so,
you're
so
willing to
you,
wait for a VirtualBox to get provisioned, then you can run tests in virtual in Solaris.
so you're doing a VM of Solaris on a Mac.
Exactly. And
Okay.
and I'm not sure that they intended that, because one of the reasons that that build was broken, it had said macOS latest, and the vbox manage command wasn't found anymore. So I followed the directions that had since been updated for VM actions and pinned it back to a version where it was still found. So I
Hmm.
wonder, like, does GitHub mean for it to be there? Do they mean for it to go away? I don't know. But for
Hmm.
now, we have it this way. At some point, we probably want to have our own build farm. Like, I have my own build farm. It's a bunch of virtual machines on a Mac Mini, but maybe something that we could set up that would be more specific to our project would be good.
Hmm.
And these take like 45 minutes to provision and run the dumb test and then stop. So we're not going to wait around for that. But this is how it works. It runs on Mac, and then it uses this VM Actions thing. And here's what I figured out to get a new enough check on Solaris. There's actually a little more work we could do here sometime. It uses the Solaris command to get, excuse me, to get GCC 4, because that's newer than what it has installed. I don't know. Um,
Hmm.
Package config and curl instead of check, because it uses curl to download the latest version of check. And then it unzips it and untars it, and it CDs into there, and it builds it from source
Hmm.
into a location where the dynamic linker already knows how to look. So it, like,
Hmm.
fakes up the package config file and everything. And
Nice work.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, I also discovered, because these are 64-bit Solaris builds, that you need the S flag to R, because otherwise by default, it'll make a 32-bit .a file, even if the objects in it are 64-bit. Unless the file is going to exceed 2 gigabytes or 4 gigabytes, and then shit doesn't link. So you need to discover that and then specify the capital S. And if it was cheaper to run Solaris builds, I would want a 32-bit build going also. Um, but
Hmm.
they're not, so we have this. So anyway, this works, and I'm pretty sure it's going to continue to pass because all we did was rebase and reorder a couple things. But that's the Solaris build. It's a real interesting thing. At some point, these will run. Let me just find one in the past that has run so you can see,
What's
and then we
the
can
no
set up.
obsolete versus the default?
That is it in this file? Yeah. The non-obsolete variant is specifically defining globally that deprecated functions removed.
Oh, okay.
So any of those functions that will get removed in a future version, it does a build removing them now.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's not an OS thing, right? Like it's not to say, oh, Solaris is suddenly
No,
not
no, no, no.
obsoleted anymore. Like,
It's
wow. Okay.
we should have a value judgment about Solaris, but that's not it. That's just us deprecating our own functions. So
Okay.
here, if we go to issues closed, or no, I think it was a pull request closed
Pull request, yeah. Actually
that,
we're oh yeah.
that I just did on
It should be a closed pull request though, right?
actually, yeah, here's a good one. Uh, so this is the one where I've written some tests that are not with check. They are shell scripts, essentially, using qmail qfilter, none of which is merged yet. And so it's intended to be a bunch of X's right now. And then when the code that makes the test pass is committed, at some point we'll be able to merge these tests and they'll pass. But so this is an example of what it looks like to run a Solaris build that has happened already. At the end, it rsyncs everything back to the host because
Hmm.
it's trying to make it look like this was a normal build, even though it was a really clever build. So the end here is right. Tests are passing, except the integration test, not qmail inject qualification, says there's a bug in this one and exits two, and the problem caused the error was this one, and so the integration tests failed.
Hmm.
And before that, let me just show you what it takes to get to this point where we're building qmail and building the tests, running the tests, failing the tests. This is all building qmail. Fine, fine, fine. Very normal. Very normal. Look where we are in the scroll bar, though. Qmail is
Hmm.
not that big. We're almost at the beginning of qmail. Okay. Here, we are building the check library, and we just got out of there. This is where we're about to build qmail. Okay, fine. So we're building the check library from source, which is going to be its own verbose thing. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Still, yeah. And so this is where we have another piece of work that we could do at some point. This is all building the check library.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it
That's a
starts here.
curl.
We extracted it here, fetched it here, extracted it here. Now we're doing the package util install compiler and whatever. And then before that, and then I'll come back to explain, how we could optimize this a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. This is all like the bootstrap process of the Solaris machine itself, that it's doing like a package update on itself, because who knows what the image state is. Um,
Oh wow, this is still doing this the that was still doing libcheck, you know?
yeah, so let's go back to the beginning. VM
Hmm.
actions. You got to do some brew install on the host, I guess to interact with the virtual machine or something. This is all automated, like we're not part of it. This is the VM action doing it for us. And then eventually, we try to start extract a
Virtual
virtual
box.
box.
There it is. Yeah. All
And then
right.
VBox
Provision
thing, you
virtual box.
import that thing. That takes a while. And then you have all these different ways that you could start it. and, and then you change it to have 3 CPUs. I don't know why. Run it headless, sure, of course. Control VM. Uh, Off it
Wow.
goes. And then Frackle
Solaris.
Solaris. That's your favorite kind of Solaris. And then it takes a while to get the firmware into the machine, whatever it is. Yeah, failed to upgrade microcode. It does this like 79 times for a while. So it's really time consuming. It's not awesome. It's pretty brittle. It may go away. In the meantime, we can't optimize this whole virtual box aspect of it, but we could, through GitHub Actions cache action, CACHE, like caching, we could probably manage to build the check library once on the master branch and have that artifact shared across all branches and reused until such time as there's a new check library. That does exist. It just seems like a lot of work for this build to take 44 minutes instead, you know? So, eh,
You
I'm
you,
not
you mean
enthusiastic.
serving an already compiled binary in Git kind of
Yeah,
thing?
instead of every like we don't need to test that we can build check. That's not our code. We just need it to be there. So we
Right.
could build it once, and then the GitHub Actions can cache. If you do it right, it can cache that artifact and bring
I
it
see.
back, which will be
Interesting.
marginally faster, leaving 44 other minutes that are slow.
That's a feature of GitHub Actions. Man,
Yeah, GitHub Actions has a cache action. It's specifically for
nice.
like artifacts that you want to not have to rebuild every time. And it's not our
Sounds
code.
pretty
Like we
cool.
don't care about it.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Right.
sure
Right.
it's worth
Right.
the investment because the boot process of this machine dwarfs the build of check. The output was a lot, but it doesn't take that long.
Right.
But
Right.
getting the machine to boot takes forever, and that's structural, and it may not even be allowed sometime. So I'm not sure I want to invest in that, but it's something we could do. Anyway, we did some good stuff today, man. We did what we wanted to do with PR number 224, and I feel really good about how approvable that is. In fact, I think we only need one more approver.
That would be like a
Yeah,
problem.
Joshua already approved. I approved, and I think at this point, Ike is going to approve. And when that happens, I assume you would like to have. Oh, I don't know if you can have the honors. Uh, if it's possible for you to do the merge, I would like you to. If not, we should do another session like this to do it.
Sounds fun.
Either way, yeah, awesome.
Thanks
So
for
for
thanks
next
for the
time,
invite.
we'll do the whole video thing. We'll get that worked out. But for this one, at least we have audio. You can hear Joel's beautiful voice. For next time, we'll have his face, and one way or another, we will get this code merged into notqmail master, which is awesome. Lord knows we worked hard on it.
It was a
Cool.
good time. It was
Uh,
a good time.
yeah, I gotta go to sleep, but thank you very much for joining me. It's awesome that you had the time, and I hope folks watching the stream had a good time too. And this video will be up on YouTube pretty soon. Thanks a lot.